Hey guys, we're gonna make some bread, some sourdough bread. I have 100 grams of my active sourdough starter. To that, I'm going to add some hot water. I have between 370 and 380 grams of hot water. Not so hot that it's gonna burn you, but pretty hot. We're gonna add those together and then mix them until it's mostly incorporated and dissolved. Doesn't take very long. That's pretty good. I have in this bowl, I already sifted 610 grams of unbleached all-purpose flour. And here I have 12 grams of salt. I like to mix my salt in with my flour. Some people add the salt in what we did just before with the water and the starter. I like doing it this way. I find that I get a better consistency with my bread. So that is mixed together. Let's go back to this one, and I am just going to dump it all in. This is a Danish dough whisk, by the way. You don't have to use this. I like it. I also have gloves on because I usually finish with my hands. So now we're going to incorporate all this together. We're just gonna mix it until the flour is all incorporated into the wet part. Oops. Once it starts coming together pretty well, I'll show you what I finish with my hands. I'll get most of the dough off of the dough whisk. You don't want to waste any bit of it. And then I'll just kind of squish it together, try and pull all of the dry dough off of the sides and from the bottom. It's not necessarily kneading, kind of similar, but really I'm just trying to incorporate all of that dry flour into it. And you're not gonna get a nice looking dough just yet. That requires a few more steps, but once it comes together and you've got this shaggy looking ball of dough, I pull everything off my hands. Like I said, you don't want to waste any of this. I prefer to wear gloves because I'm getting my hands all in there. It gets under your fingernails and it's not pleasant for me. So there is my shaggy dough. I'm going to cover this with saran wrap and I'm going to let it sit on my counter for a half an hour. After a half an hour has passed, I'm going to do a set of stretch and folds, and then I'm going to wait another half an hour. I'm going to do that consecutively until I've done 3 stretch and folds, and then after that I'm going to let it sit on the counter for 6 or so hours before I do the next step, and that will probably be another video, but here is the start of a sourdough loaf. Okay, so here is my bread that has been sitting for 30 minutes on the counter, covered. I'm going to show you how I do stretch and folds. Uncover it, shaggy dough. I have a little bowl of water because if I dip my fingers in the water, it won't stick so much. So get my fingers just a little bit wet, grab a hold, pull it up, and fold it over. Move it just a little bit, pull it up, fold it over. If it's getting sticky, get a little more water on your hands. Pull it up, pull it over, pull it up, fold it over. Once you've done it pretty much all the way around on each side, you're just gonna cover it back up, set it on the counter for another 30 minutes, and then we'll do it again. The dough got 3 sets of stretch and folds, one every 30 minutes, and then sat on the counter for about 6 hours. Here you see me shaping the dough. This loaf is stickier than mine usually are, but I had it sit on the counter, and now I'm just shaping it into a tighter ball. So you just kind of push it away and pull it back. Loaf still looks good. It's just a little stickier than I'm used to. Until it gets nice and tight. Looks beautiful. I'm going to wash this bowl, and then I like to lightly oil the bottom of my bowl. I will plop this back in there, and then I will let it sit in the fridge probably until tomorrow. You can usually cook them after it sits in the fridge for 2 to 3 hours, or up to like 3 days. I don't usually wait quite that long, but that's the next step. Okay guys, I decided I will show you this step because I want to be as thorough as I can for anybody who is a newbie. So I have my bowl that I freshly cleaned and dried. I'll put a little bit of, this is olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil would work too. You also don't have to oil your bowl. This is how I learned, so this is how I do it. And then I'm just gonna pick up my loaf the best I can and plop it right in. There it is. I'm gonna cover it back up and stick it in the fridge, and like I said, I'll probably bake it tomorrow. All right, here it is all wrapped up, and it's going in the fridge. Okay guys, we are at our final step. We're gonna bake the bread. I just took it out of the fridge. Here it is. I preheated my Dutch oven at 450 degrees, and hopefully you can see everything I do and I don't burn myself on the Dutch oven. So I'm going to put the bread onto this silicone mat. I like this better than parchment paper, but you can use parchment paper if you want. Carefully turn the bread out, boom. And then I'm gonna lift it up and put it in here. You hear the sizzles because it's hitting the side. And I didn't take out my lame to score it, so hold on, I'm gonna go get that. Okay, this is my bread lame. I'm just gonna do one deep score across it. I will show you. Just like that. Hopefully you can see it. And then I'm gonna put it in the oven at 450 degrees with the lid on. I don't preheat my lid. I will burn myself. For 30 minutes with the lid on, then I'm gonna take the lid off and do it for another 20 minutes. And then after that, I'll pull it out of the Dutch oven and put it on my cooling rack. And it needs to cool for at least 2 to 3 hours before you cut into it. It's supposed to be completely cool before you cut it. And I will show you when it's done. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. I'm gonna take the lid off. That's what the loaf looks like. And then I'm gonna put it back in or leave it in, but set the timer for 20 more minutes. Okay guys, the bread is done. I'm gonna pull it out of the oven. It smells amazing. It looks amazing. I'll pull it out of there so you can see it better. It's hot, very, very hot. Ooh, it is dark. They do not usually turn out quite this dark. I'm gonna tell you why it's a little darker than usual. It still looks amazing, it smells amazing, and it's done. And now I will just wait a few hours till I can cut into it. Hopefully I can edit all these videos together and you can get a comprehensive tutorial to make this lovely loaf. And if not, you get what you get. Bye-bye. Here you have it. And I cut it open and it looks beautiful.